Good morning, Friday the 6th of November, and start by saying a massive thank you to Kevin Boyle for coming on last night and sharing his story with us and taking an hour out of his life to connect with us and to share his story. So if you didn't manage to listen to that last night, it is on the page, Kevin Boyle, Thursday night the 5th. You can hear the fireworks in the background last night banging off, and to remind us that there was still people out throwing fireworks in the street. So massive thank you to Kevin Boyle last night, 22-year-old boy that came on and shared his story. And what we got from that is that no matter who you are, what kind of car you've got in your drive, what kind of job you've got, you know, what your wardrobe's filled with, you can still be struggling. And the first step of acceptance. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Gordon. So the first recognition, if you like, is acceptance. Accepting where you're at, accepting that you are struggling, and or that you might just need a bit of help with something. It's like, you know, you sit there and you feel like you've put on a few extra pounds. Well, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So, you know, it starts with making that change. And I had that realisation last weekend. Started to feel a bit sluggish because I was eating like twice my own body weight. You know, and a lot of folk are saying to me, but you're doing a load of exercise, you know, you're into carb reload and stuff like that. But it was more than that. I was just absolutely eating massive amounts of food. And on Sunday I stopped eating and started juicing. So I've just been like doing carrot juice and cucumber juice and all that kind of stuff. So I'm on like day 5 of that, and I feel massively better, right? But it took me to take action. It took me to actually stop doing what I was doing because patterns were starting to... Morning, Mr. Turley, I hope you're well. I'm going to put it back on you now, Turley. I have said let's catch up. So the ball's back in your court now, matey. Right, so... yeah, it's just accepting that. And if you've always been doing what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always gotten. What I started to notice was dark nights last week, come like 6:30 after I had ate my dinner, which is generally enough to feed 4. I was nipping round to the garage and I was buying a Ritter Sport and a dairy milk, and I was almost in my mind invisibly saying to the people, because it was the same people that were on when I was going round, that the dairy milk was for somebody else, like this secret person that I've got that lives with me that doesn't, because I love myself. And you know, it was like the guilt around about buying these 2 massive bars of chocolate, and I was scoffing them all. So those little behaviours had started to creep in again, and it's just making that change. So not in there. So Kevin Boyle last night, his story, like so many of us, we've all got a story. You know, none of us don't have a story. Even people that don't think you've got a story, you've got a story. And do we ever really deal with the pain or the isolation that we may have felt through the breakdown of a relationship, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, the loss of a social standing, the loss of our career? Do we ever really get over that, or do we just manage it and develop a personality to get ourselves through it? And sometimes that personality needs fed, as Kevin was saying last night, fed with labels and, you know, things that made him appear to the outside world more complete or successful. You know, an accountant once said to me, let the last thing to go when your business is failing is your car, because you've got to maintain that image, that projection that everything's going all right. And it's not always going all right. It can be difficult for a lot of us. And, you know, there's a difference about sharing your shit, I think, and just for sharing your shit's sake. it's like bringing your shit onto like social media or whatever. Oh, I'm struggling again, and it's like, mate, if you've been struggling for 6 months, you're not taking any action, you're not taking any effective action about getting yourself out of the rut that you found yourself in. You know, and it might be, well, I have been trying, or I have been doing things. Well, you've not been doing the right things, and it is a really, really difficult, laborious journey, but we've got to really club together and do what we can to bring awareness. What a lot of us then do is we stop sharing, because we feel further along the line than we actually are. Morning, Marty, I hope you're well. Thanks for sharing Kevin's story last night. It was great. I hope you listened to some of it, if you managed to have the time. Down south of the border. Do what, Marty, as well? I wonder how that's going to affect your business. Or, what am I saying? It's not going to affect you at all, is it? So, aye, Friday. Don't know if I'm going to be able to pop on tomorrow. I've got some people lined up for next week, and wee guy went to school with a great fella, great story, and I've got some therapists that are coming on as well to share some ideas that might be helpful in these times as it's starting to get darker, and you know, you just need to turn on that news and it's full of division and separation. Aye, there was something I did hear in the news that I thought was really poignant. It was America's got 3 enemies: China, Russia, and itself. And the reason it's got itself is because it's so divided. And I really like that, because I think things could be a whole lot easier if we weren't battling with parts of ourselves. It's like, how much of you really want to do something, but you don't do it on the risk of feeling stupid or looking stupid. It's like, okay, you know, I took as much flack, and you know, folk have defriended me on Facebook, you know, and blocked me on Facebook because I've done this. Folk called me a fucking stoter, and you know, I've had that since I went onto this. And if Mr. Turley's still watching, you know, 1993, I hung up my feelers to an extent because I was right off the rails. And, you know, I went into therapy, and then in 96, I went and spent a year in India, and, you know, done the whole ashram stuff and all that, and the meditation stuff and all that. And, you know, round my little redneck village, I was born again Christian, and I was a Hare Krishna, and no, I'm still me. I'm still got my sides of me that are just exactly the same. It just so happens that I'm not jumping about with you lot bouncing drugs down my neck. And you know, the amazing thing about that is those people that judged back then are still closet snorters. You know, they've still got their wee middle class lifestyle and present to the community that they're professional people, but at the weekends they're battering drugs. It's like, whatever. So, you know, you're going to get ridiculed, but the biggest person that's going to ridicule you yourself. And I think if we can go over that stigma and start to get into like more community-based initiatives and like fellowship things, and things that are ran with integrity, not things that give you the like these new age stuff that's going about that, oh, you know, if you come and follow what we do, you're friends of the group and you're part of the family, because we all feel like we need to belong. And as Kevin was saying last night, he got his sense of belonging through Buckfast and Stone Island and the football, right? Now people are getting lured into, if you pay us extraordinary amounts of money and come and listen to me, I've got the answers, then you'll be a friend, and you'll be part of the family. And you know, even with this stuff, you know, this cold water, a great guy, and I salute him, that brought you know, this cold water exposure back into people's psyches, okay? But Scandinavian people have been doing it for thousands of years, you know. And laugh out loud, Clash Roscoe. You know, but you've then, no, that's got a trendy name. If you're doing Wim Hof, you're part of the tribe. Are you doing Wim Hof? No, I'm bobbing about in the Clyde, right? That's what I'm doing, right? Is it beneficial? Absolutely. Has it been going on for thousands of years? Absolutely. Did they know the DNA structural science that changes it? No. Do we really need to? Or do people just start blabbing about the science because it makes them sound clever? It makes you feel good. And if it does make you feel good, it's not costing you anything, it's not costing harm or hurt to anyone else, then do it. And have a great, fantastic weekend, right? I'm going to emerge from here like a swamp creature. And thanks very much. If you didn't get the time to listen to wee Kevin's story last night, or Big Kevin's story last night, it's still online. And there's some huge nuggets in there for us all. 22-year-old boy, courageous, 18 months.